Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really locked in on some recent NFL buzz.
Yeah, we're pulling apart a pretty insightful YouTube discussion. It was digging into team needs, draft prospect.
Exactly. Think of this as like your fast track to the strategy side of things as we get closer to the draft.
Right. We went through the transcript, lots of expert analysis in there. And our mission basically is to pull out the key nuggets about the Jets and the Jags.
What they've been up to, how they might be thinking for the draft.
Yeah, just cutting through the noise, trying to get a clear picture of their potential moves.
Okay, sounds good. So let's dive right into the New York Jets then. They kicked off-season workouts.
With their new head coach, Aaron Glenn.
Mhm.
But, the real, attention grabber was Justin Fields' first media appearance as a Jet.
Okay. And what stood out there?
Well, his excitement, really. He seemed genuinely pumped about teaming up with Garrett Wilson again, his old Ohio State teammate.
Oh, right. I forgot they played together.
Yeah, and Field was saying it felt totally natural, like they hadn't skipped a beat. He also mentioned being excited to work with other guys he knew from college, like Ruck and Josh Myers.
That connection, that pre-existing chemistry, I mean, that's going to be huge, right? Especially for a QB and receiver.
Absolutely. And one of the analysts in the discussion really hammered that point home, how vital that kind of built-in comfort level can be.
Yeah, you can see that. It smooths things out early on.
And you have to think about the context, too. The Jets, well, they know they need to keep Garrett Wilson happy.
After last season, definitely.
For sure. So making sure he's feeling good about things is a major priority. Bringing in Fields, someone he already has that rapport with.
It feels like a very calculated move.
Exactly. A deliberate step to boost that connection right off the bat.
Right.
Build that chemistry quickly.
Okay, but even with Fields and a top 10 pick number 7, right?
Yep, 7th overall.
The analysis we saw suggested they still have quite a few holes to fill. It's not like they're just, one piece away.
No, definitely not. Several areas need work.
So where's the biggest need, according to the discussion?
The offensive line came up repeatedly, specifically right tackle.
Okay. They took a left tackle high last year, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
So focusing on the right side makes a lot of sense. You want to solidify both ends for your quarterback.
Protect the investment. Makes sense. So any names being floated for them at 7?
Armand Membou from Missouri, he kept coming up.
Membou. Okay. What's the book on him?
He was described as a, quote, clean prospect.
Clean, meaning?
Sort of reliable. Not a lot of major question marks or weaknesses in his game, generally speaking.
Like a safe bet, maybe?
Yeah.
What about his build? Linemen, you always hear about the measurables.
Yeah, they mentioned his size, 6'4", around 330 pounds. Definitely looks the part.
Uh-huh.
And the stats back it up, too, apparently. Only gave up 1 sack all last season.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah, very encouraging. Plus, he reportedly had a really strong combine performance, tested well.
So putting it all together, Membou at 7, what's the thinking there for the Jets?
Well, the feeling from the analysis seems to be that it would be a stable, dependable pick for the new GM and coach.
Kind of setting a foundation.
Exactly. Avoid a big risk early, address a clear need, and maybe, just maybe, avoid that whole same old Jets narrative.
Right. Try to break that cycle. It's about starting fresh with something solid.
That seems to be the idea, a foundational piece.
Interesting choice they have, though, isn't it? Go safe with the linemen, or maybe swing for the fences at another position.
It is. But given their recent history, maybe stability is the priority right now. The analysis certainly pointed that way.
Okay, let's switch gears then. Head down south to Jacksonville, the Jaguars.
Right. They've also started their off-season program.
And the focus there seems squarely on Trevor Lawrence, yeah. And the new head coach, Liam Cohen.
Yeah, especially on his mechanics. Specifically, his footwork.
Footwork. Why the big emphasis there?
Well, apparently there are some, let's say, acknowledged limitations in his throwing right now. And they see improving his footwork as key to unlocking more consistency.
And Lawrence knows this.
Seems like it. The discussion mentioned he's self-aware about needing to improve it.
Okay. And the new offense under Liam Cohen, does that tie in?
Directly. It's heavily built around timing, syncing the quarterback's feet with the route progressions.
Rhythm and timing. Got it.
Exactly. And they pointed to Baker Mayfield's career year under Cohen as OC.
Oh, yeah. He lit it up.
Career highs in touchdowns, yards, completion percentage. Even his off-target throws were way down.
So the hope is Cohen can work that same magic with Lawrence.
That's definitely the optimism surrounding the hire,
Mm.
that he can really help Lawrence take that next step.
But it's not just the physical stuff, is it? The analysis really dug into the mental side for Lawrence, too.
Yeah, that's seen as like a critical piece, his consistency, especially
Yeah.
when things go, sideways in a game.
How he handles adversity.
Exactly. Can he keep his cool? Can he fall back on his fundamentals when things get tough? That's the question.
I think I remember hearing about that before, maybe last season.
Yeah, the discussion mentioned a previous chat with him, I think in London, about that very issue. The belief is, look, he has all the tools physically. It's about the mental consistency.
Avoiding those stretches where things just seem to unravel.
Precisely. That's the hurdle they think he needs to clear.
Okay, so draft-wise for the Jags, they've got 2 picks pretty early, right? Top 36.
Yeah, starting at number 5 overall.
5, okay. Who are people linking to them there?
Mason Graham's name comes up a lot. Defensive tackle.
Mason Graham. And the thinking is...
He could be the centerpiece, the anchor for what's already a pretty talented defensive front.
You mean with Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen?
Yep.
They added Eric Armstead too, didn't they?
Right. So adding Graham to that mix,
Yeah.
he could really elevate the whole unit.
Is he considered that good? Like elite potential?
Well, according to the analysis, yeah. He's in the conversation as like one of the top 3 blue chip guys in the whole draft.
Wow. High praise. Alongside who?
Names like Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter were mentioned.
Yeah.
So yeah, elite company.
Any concerns with him?
There was a little talk about his weight being maybe a bit low at the combine, but apparently he weighed in heavier at his pro day. So that seemed to ease those worries.
So the idea is he completes that D-line, makes it truly dominant.
That seems to be the potential they see.
Yeah. Okay. And what about helping Lawrence out on offense? They got Brian Thomas Jr., but do they need more weapons?
The analysis definitely suggested that. Giving Lawrence more options is still a priority.
So maybe with that second pick, the one later in the top 36.
Exactly. And the name that popped up there was Emeka Egbuka, the receiver from Ohio State.
Egbuka. Okay. What's his profile?
Smooth route runner, apparently very tough after the catch. Good vision, makes guys miss.
Sounds useful. Does he have speed?
Sufficient speed was the description. And courage over the middle, not afraid of traffic. Qualities that seem like they'd pair well with Lawrence.
Yeah. Sounds like a solid compliment to Thomas Jr. Is he expected to be there for their second pick?
That's the question mark, really. Will he fall? The feeling was, if he is still on the board, the Jags would probably be pretty thrilled to grab him.
Okay. Could be a really nice pickup for them if it works out.
Definitely. Could give Lawrence another reliable target.
All right, so let's quickly recap the main takeaways from this deep dive for the Jets.
It seems like job 1 is getting that Fields-Wilson connection humming again, reestablishing that QB-receiver synergy.
Right. And in the draft, maybe playing it a bit safe early, solidifying the O-line with someone like Membou.
Yeah, a dependable pick seems likely, trying to build a solid foundation.
And then for the Jaguars.
Big focus on Trevor Lawrence's development. Getting those mechanics, especially the footwork, dialed in with the new coaching staff.
Coaching is key there. And draft-wise.
Potentially adding a cornerstone piece to the D-line early, like Mason Graham at 5.
And then hoping to snag another weapon for Lawrence later on. Maybe Egbuka.
Exactly. Bolstering both sides of the ball seems to be the plan.
Really interesting stuff. Gives you a good sense of the potential strategies heading towards the draft.
Yeah, lots of moving parts.
Definitely. Okay, so here's a final thought to kind of mull over. How much might these existing college connections, like Fields and Wilson, actually impact things beyond just the initial chemistry?
You mean like team dynamics down the line, or even front office thinking?
Yeah. Could those relationships have wider ripples? And then for Lawrence, if this intense focus on fundamentals on his footwork really does click, what does that unlock?
Could that be the thing that finally pushes him into that truly elite, consistent tier everyone expects?
Exactly. Something to keep an eye on for sure as the season gets going. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us.